emergency?
I just want to talk to you.
Okay, I'm hanging up.
Just out for a drive, sweetie, okay?
Is there someone with you?
Uh-huh.
Does the person you with know you called us?
No.
Who do they think you called? Your child?
Yes, sweetie.
Does the person you're with have a weapon?
Yes.
I need the color of the car, okay? When I say the right one, say it's fine. Red? White?
It's fine.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2021 thriller The Guilty. The film is directed by Anton Fuqua and it stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Riley Keough, Peter Skarsgård and Ethan Hawke. Now the film focuses on Jake Gyllenhaal's character Joe Baylor, who is essentially a police officer who has been temporarily demoted to the call centre because there has been is due to being caught the very next day for something that he has done while he was a police officer. So while it's being investigated, he's been demoted to this position. So he's basically taking emergency calls for the police, the fire department, so on and so forth. Obviously, he's not happy about this. He doesn't like doing this job. He wants to get back on the street as a police officer, but he's trying to do his best with the job. He's also going through a messy breakup with his wife, and he's desperate to see and speak to his daughter. So this is a guy essentially who's living on the edge at the minute. You know, he's pretty stressed out, and he's pretty, durable to a breakdown. And this one morning, he gets near the end of his shift, he gets a call over the emergency services, and he soon realizes that this is a woman who is clearly being abducted by, it turns out to be her ex, and he is desperate to help this woman. He's on a personal vendetta to make sure that he helps this woman because he's got something that he feels guilty about. So he's desperate to help her and help her young children who has been left home alone while she's been abducted. So he essentially uses every resource at his disposal. The police, some of his ex-colleagues on the force, you name it, he tries to call in every favour he can, every emergency service to track down this woman in the car, and to also find and make sure her children are safe at home. So that is it really. You are on this journey with Jake Gyllenhaal's character Joe throughout this whole film. What are my thoughts on The Guilty? Well, I've noticed this has been on my watch list on Netflix for a while now. I'd heard of it a little bit when it came out, but it's not one of those films I thought, well, I'm in a rush to watch that. And me and my wife was looking the other night for something interesting on Netflix to watch, and she said, just choose something. So I chose this. Boy, am I glad I did. What a wonderful film this is. Now, this film isn't going to be for everybody because it's a very claustrophobic, if you like, suffocating film, because for 95% of the runtime of this film, you are in this control room with Jake Gyllenhaal. It's just him on screen for the most part, with an occasional appearance from another actor. And you hear other actors on the other end of the phone. You don't see Ethan Hawke, you just hear Ethan Hawke. You don't see Peter Skarsgård, you just hear him. It's him, it's this journey that Jake Gyllenhaal's character's on, Joe. This journey of redemption that he is on. And you see his arc from the beginning, where he's getting calls from the press asking him for statements about what he did and the court case that's coming up the next day, and he's in denial. He's got his buddies on the force that are clearly going to stand up for him in court, and you know what I mean. In a lot of ways, he's a very unlikable character throughout this film. He's just massively intense, but he's on this absolute mission to help this woman who's been abducted, and he's not going to give up on it. And you see this journey throughout the whole film, and you're on the ride with him. And what makes it so good is his performance, Jake Gyllenhaal. Now, I've always known that Jake Gyllenhaal has been a good actor. I didn't know he was this good. He is essentially the focus of this film. There's nobody else. He has to carry this film, and he has to give a massively intense performance. And I completely and utterly believed it. I was right there with him, feeling every emotion he was feeling, his intensity, his frustration, his anger, everything that he was going through. I mean, such an intense performance. I mean, he was living on the edge in this film. He was completely on the edge, close to a breakdown a few times. And you just thought, oh my God, how is he going to get through this? How is he going to help? What's he going to do? And for me as well, another thing about this film that I just think is marvellous. It's a real example to those out there that you don't need flashy, expensive special effects. You don't need heaps and heaps of film stars. You don't need glitz and glamour thrown at a film. All you really need is a bloody good director, a great script, and a great actor or actors. And this is a fine example, and I think this film should be. Honestly, I really do think this film should be studied in like film study schools and things like that as a perfect example of how to make a film, engage the audience, gives a fantastic example of an actor at the top of his game, a director who absolutely understands the genre that he's doing and can film it in such an intense way that you are completely and utterly sucked in and drawn into this film, so that you are sat in that control room with Jake Gyllenhaal throughout the journey of this film. When the film finished, me and my wife both kind of looked at each other and went, wow, that was great. And I genuinely urge you guys, if you are film fans, you like to watch films of loads of different genres and films that take risks, I definitely recommend that you check this film out. I can't see anybody watching this film and not being invested in it. And it's got a killer twist as well that I absolutely did not see coming. That really it gets to a point in the film as a realization, and you're kind of like, oh my God, that really changes things, massively changes things. I really liked it. There was occasions when you're thinking, well, can we cut to something else now? Can we cut to maybe the car? But smartly, it didn't. And I'm glad it didn't, because it left so much to your imagination. It sparked your creativity, this film. It was like reading a book. And when you read a good book and it sparks your imagination, well, that's what this film does. I just thought it was masterfully done. A really, really good creative film, and I urge you guys to check it out. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll be back with more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.